Well, we've got a bright sunny day here in the end of September 2025. Some beautiful asters in bloom in this overgrown field here. Going to be exploring a couple properties owned by the trustees of reservations, which is part of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts park system. I'm going to start today at the Bullitt Reservation, B-U-L-L-I-T-T. This is near the town of Conway in Ashfield, Massachusetts. I believe this is mostly in Franklin County, which is the northernmost county along the Connecticut Valley, and either side of the Connecticut Valley in western Massachusetts. This park itself is a few hundred acres. It's got some loop trails here, shown in yellow, and then a connecting trail that goes over to another property owned by the trustees of reservations called the Brook Preserve, I think it is, and there's a ledge there with a overlook and a waterfall as well. Mostly dry the last few months, but there has been some heavy rain lately. Let's see if we can catch enough water on that waterfall to make it interesting. We'll see what's coming down. The streams all came up last week, a few days ago, and started to come back down again. So we'll see how much water actually is still coming over it. There's an overlook on this property, indicated by this symbol right here. It looks like a crown almost. And then 1.8 miles to the Brook Preserve, and then from there we can go up to Chapel Falls and Chapel Ledge, and then there's trails that continue beyond that to the Daughters of American Revolution State Forest. So I'm going to see how much time I have, and we'll keep going to my turnaround time and then head back. So this is going to be pretty much an out and back with a couple little loops along the way. Well, we just passed that overlook that was shown on the map, and none of this is very far, just a few minute walk from that starting point. And another thing that showed up on that map was called the Pebble. Well, obviously that didn't mean a pebble, it meant this thing, which I've got my hiking pole in here for scale. That pole is 42 inches. So yes, this is not a pebble. Massive boulder here. Interesting the way the trees have snuggled up to it. It looks like they're holding it from rolling down the hill. Hemlock tree there. Black birch right here. It's really sidled up to this boulder. And yeah, from right here, it looks like it's being held up by these trees, because it looks like it's just got a very narrow edge touching the ground from this perspective. As we walk around it, we can see there's a flatter surface in the back here. Right there. That's keeping it from rolling down this hill. We'll see what other boulders we can find today, but they're, you know, once this size, they're not uncommon in New England. Depends on where you are. I've hiked places where there's dozens of them this size. We'll see how many are around here, but this definitely came a distance. The fact that it's kind of been rounded over a little bit, not square or broken at sharp angles. It probably means it got tossed around in the ice sheets for a distance. This is a metamorphic bedrock, which is common around here. So I'm not sure how far exactly it came, but it could have been, you know, within a few miles or maybe further. And looks like you could scramble up to the top. I'm not going to try. Yeah, these quartz chunks stand out amongst these more brown and gray rocks in this rock wall. And quartz veins are pretty common in these metamorphic rocks around here. Some are pure white and some are more of a off-color quartz. Not uncommon to find it. These rock walls are common in the second growth forest of New England. Land that's not extremely steep, that was you know, suitable for pasturing, not necessarily growing row crops. And lots of tree mortality. Boy, dead hemlocks, dead ash trees, pretty common. But we've switched from the yellow blazes of what's called the Pebble Trail, which makes the loop around the Bullitt Reservation, to these blue blazes and blue arrows that indicate the Two Bridges Trail, which connects the Bullitt Reservation with the Chapel Reservation. The sign indicated at the start that part of this trail went across private land and wasn't maintained. Well, so far I've found evidence of maintenance and plenty of trail markers. Alrighty, well, I'm going to estimate from the start of the Bullitt Reservation at the parking area to the point I'm at right now. Without stopping, you could probably do it in an hour. Got two large boulders here, not as large as the Pebble, but fairly large. There's my 42-inch walking stick. Well, this is called the Two Bridges Trail, and I think I found the reason why. These are well-built bridges. None of this trail was difficult, just undulating. I looked at the topographic map. There's no more than 300 feet difference between the starting point and any point along the trail. So up and down, but never steep, never prolonged. I don't have the name of this brook on the map. It's a smaller brook. And just around the corner is Chapel Brook. I think we've got enough water that it may be interesting to see these falls. Falls have a magical way of taking a little bit of water and making it look like a lot, depending on the falls. But often you think, well, there's no way that could be a good waterfall. There's hardly any water at the top. Then you get underneath it and you're pleasantly surprised. So here's the second bridge. Now this Chapel Brook is a much larger brook, as you can hear and see. Boy, is this pretty today. Yeah, we are getting some early fall color here. A lot of the sugar maple is starting to turn. We've got some witch hazel right there. It's starting to turn. And some of the birches are starting to turn, especially the smaller, shallow-rooted birches that are more prone to being stressed by dry weather. And after the second bridge, we're going to get a look at the Chapel Brook Preserve trail map. And we came from the Bullitt Reservation. It says 1.8 miles. Certainly no more than that. It was pretty gentle walking. Switchbacks were needed, but not really too many places. So yes, we got the two bridges right here, and then a Blue Blaze Trail called the Two Bridges Trail continues upstream to Chapel Falls. We got to cross a road, Williamsburg Road, and then there's a Black Blaze Trail called the DAR Trail, black or green, I can't quite tell. We'll find out. And then a Red Blaze Trail goes up over Pony Mountain, which has a giant ledge for rock climbers. Even has a trail called the Climbers Trail. We might check that out on the way up, possibly. Probably easier to go up it than down it, I'm guessing. We'll look at the view. And then we'll take a lunch break and see what time it is. I might just head up the DAR Trail a distance just to make sure I get all the miles I can in the 6 hours I have available today. And I've been taking my time really looking around, so that 6 hours may disappear before then. Alrighty, that was the lower flume of the falls. Unfortunately, the dead hemlock trees are clogging up a lot of waterfalls in southern New England and making it hard to get a good clean photograph of them. This isn't the first time that's happened to me. This upper part of the falls is without those dead trees, so it's actually prettier. At least today it is. So let's go take a look at it. So we got two flumes here. I think between the two of them it's like a 40-foot drop. And this one has a nice little wading pool here. Almost warm enough today to go in, but I don't need to. Certainly not hot. There's your view looking down the falls. And then a nice smooth rock face here. Now this is really pretty today with the reflection in this pool and the golden leaves above it. And we're just above that large pool underneath the second part of this falls, and above this flume here, we've got a third set of falls, a little more spread out. And then a road right above it. So let's take one look at this, and then we're going to head up to Chapel Ledge. So there's your top flume. There's a little waiting area underneath it as well. Well, you come right up above Chapel Falls, and you're at the road, and you take a quick walk up the road, or north on the road here, and then up the DAR trail, and then I have come up the red trail to where the Climbers Trail starts. And we're already looking up at the ledge here. So it looks pretty interesting. It's way up there. There's too many leaves and too many trees to see the whole thing. I'll just try to make some short clips of the view up, looking up the ledge, and then from the top we'll look down and around. All right, well, maybe a 10 to 15 minute walk from Chapel Falls to the top of Chapel Ledge here. I went up the Climbers Trail, which is shorter. Honestly, it really wasn't that bad. It was no different than a lot of the trails in New Hampshire. So it's doable, up or down. It's got plenty of steps. No scrambling required. So let's take in the view from up here. All right. Well, it appears the view is mostly the immediate area. Based on where the sun is in the sky, I'm thinking we're looking south, maybe southeast right here, beyond the immediate area. And there are some hills off in the distance, possibly on the other side of the Connecticut River Valley. Way off that way. And we'll just took a little different perspective here. Zooming back out from this spot here, you can see about 180 degrees. So this part of the Berkshires is basically a plateau with lots of narrow valleys. There's no prominent peaks in the eastern Berkshires, west of the Connecticut River, and east of, you know, basically Route 8, or even Route 7, really. It's dissected plateau, so you're not going to get far distant views from most of these peaks around here, unless you're right at the edge looking into the Connecticut Valley. I did Toccoa Mountain a couple years ago. That's the same kind of rocks as we've been seeing today, but it's right at the edge of the Connecticut Valley, and it does have views looking further because of that. We're probably 20 miles north of that and 10 miles west of the Connecticut Valley, so we're seeing the nearby ridges. Some early fall color. And you know, what I did today is going to be a little over 5 miles round trip. But if you just did this Chapel Reservation, you could see the whole thing in an hour. Definitely worth seeing the shorter trails that are here. I wanted to do more than that, especially since I drove a couple hours to get up this way. I wanted to, you know, get more distance at least. So easy half-day distance what I just did. Hike over from Bullitt on the Two Bridges Trail, the Pebble Trail to the Two Bridges Trail to this trail here and back. You could still do it in a half day. And the DAR trail continues west towards that park. And then there's lots of trails over there that I've never done, so that might be a place to explore in the future. But I'm going to wrap up this hike. It was definitely interesting, and the falls were interesting, and considering how dry it's been this summer, I was glad there was some water in them. A little more would be even better, and if all those dead trees were not at the bottom, it would be really photogenic. But that's what we got, and from the middle pitch up, it was definitely photogenic and worth your visit.